Fellas, I'm back. Excuse the old camera. I can't find my other one, but I think I'm going to be doing YouTube a little bit differently now. I think I've decided that YouTube is just going to be one of the many things I'm going to be using for my coaching program, and it's not going to be my main focus, but I do want to focus today on this amazing book, The Joy of Poker by Jason Su. It is the best book on poker, the only book on poker that you need to read. Any other book, including the mental game of poker, is now in the shadow of this amazing book. Anyone who plays poker seriously needs to read this book, and anyone who has mental game problems like me needs to read this book. What he outlines in the beginning is he begins with a little story about when him or someone went to a improv class and the class and the teacher noticed that the students were being they were like trying to be funny and they weren't just like letting it happen sort of thing, and the teacher realized, okay, this is what's going on. You guys are um you guys have forgotten how to be funny, but you know how to be funny. You just have to let it sort of happen. And it's the same thing with poker, where a lot of these miserable regs, um, they know how to play poker, and they sort of like forgot. And this really like struck a chord with me because I feel like I've been playing full time again for the last couple of years, and I felt like I had to like start from square one like 2 years ago. I had to like restart everything I knew about poker, and it had to do with this idea that um, I forgot how to play poker because I was forcing everything. And the difference between this book and the goat of mental game books that came before it, which would be the Mental Game of Poker by Jared Tendler, which is a great book, is the underlying difference is this. In the past, a lot of people would give you exercises, and even Jared did, and that book's great, and it's great for understanding the mental game of poker. But what what Jason does in this book is, let me move this a little bit, is what Jason does in this book is he comes from a source of mindfulness. So if the old school way of thinking about the mental game was stoicism, this is sort of going into mindfulness. And what you see from what Jason Su has outlined is that stoicism only can get you so far. So what Stoics sort of teach and practice is in life is that you can only control the things that you can control, and you need to be accepting of all the things that you can't control. And of course, in poker, that's like, the main thing. You can't control the cards, and you can only control your betting, your strategy, and how you respond to other people's betting and strategy, and how you respond to the uh, the cards and the luck and the runouts and stuff like that. Okay, so that's great, but when I just say, "Hey, buddy, just take a deep breath. You can't control the runout. Um, you'll get through this." That's fine, but like you still there's still a problem of your problems are still there, and the the way that this gets solved through mindfulness practice, which is what this book focuses on, is staying present. And if I could sum up this whole book in one thesis statement, is presence means more than anything um, in the grand scheme of things. So staying present is more important than uh, staying present is more important than anything. It's more important than making the right play. It's more important than understanding poker strategy, your opponent's strategy. It's more important than winning. Staying present is more important than actually winning. And that sounds stupid. It sounds contradictory, but really, presence is the path to winning. Because as you know in poker, sometimes you lose because of luck, etc. If you stay present, you will always swim toward the path of winning because then you will be content and happy with the way in which life, but also poker, pans out. So, how do you stay present? This is the main exercise and the main idea that is the most important idea, I believe, throughout the book. And what Sue calls it is 3D presence. So the first thing, there's three parts of staying present, and it's understanding your sensations, your thoughts, and your environment. So the first step is the sensations. So you might feel happy, you might feel sad, you might feel anxious. So you recognize sensations. Second, you recognize your thoughts in relating to these sensations. So you might say, okay, I feel anxious. I'm having thoughts of wanting to, you know, punch someone, or I'm want to leave, and you recognize that you're thinking about it. And then the third one is environment. You look around your environment, you take in what is going on around you and everything and how you feel within the environment. And what happens is you will start centering yourself to your present moment. And unlike stoicism where you just accept the present moment, you don't even need to do that. You just need to realize what is happening. So all you need to say, and so like he outlines it really quickly. You first ask yourself, where is it? Where is the feeling? And then you ask yourself, what is it doing? What is the feeling doing? And then you will start being present. And then all that matters is that you're present with your emotion. Because what the mental game of poker sort of, it doesn't get wrong, but what stoicism does that isn't helpful is that it doesn't really take into account that we are emotional and that actually it's impossible to control your own emotions. So all you need to do is stay present. So I'm going to move on from this topic because I do want you to read the book, and there's a lot more in the book, and I'm going to skip towards more the end of the book because to me this was the most important part, which is the 3D presence, and then I'm going to move on to the later part of the book, but buy the book. It's so good. This last part is twofold. One, he says, be wary of where you draw your inspiration from. He calls this dirty fuel. And the example he gives is when Michael Jordan says that he made up some non-existent problem in the past just to fuel him for motivation. And there's different forms of dirty fuel, and the reason why it's bad is that once these fuels run out, uh, then you have no more way of motivating yourself to play and to win. And that's fine. So you need to find like your own ways to play the game. And when you stripe away everything, the motivation should be staying present and being happy with the present and with yourself in the present, and that's all that matters. This brings me to the last point, and it's what I personally have been struggling with over the last couple of years, and I struggled with it even before I went full time in poker, and that is being ready to win. And I remember talking to my ex-girlfriend about this idea, and I said, "Hey, I just don't want to win." And what you might not understand as someone who doesn't play poker, I was telling her this, is that not everyone who sits at the table actually plays to win. And you'd think, well, what do you mean? They just like give you the chips? And I kind of said they give you the chips, but inadvertently. They just like and it was what I felt in the last couple like year or two is that I wasn't ready for success. And I want to read you a part at the end of the book that explains this willingness to win, and that it's that needing to win is not the same as willing to win, so or wanting to win. So I needed to win because I didn't have a job. I needed to win, but I didn't really care about winning. I just felt like I needed to win. So here's a great quote from the book. To win big is not enough to be willing to have the emotional experience that comes along with winning. You must also be willing to have whatever emotional experience would come with playing and losing. Okay? So let me repeat that. You must also be willing to have whatever emotional experience would come with playing and losing. So if you're not willing to lose, you're not willing to win. And you need to recognize this within yourself. And for me, this is the main thing that I have been working on in the last couple months because honestly, I was not willing to feel the pain of losing so that I could feel the enjoyment of winning. The last thing I'm going to say is that once you are willing to win and you do win, there's a very important thing that you need to do, which is to celebrate your wins. A lot of these misregs that you see at the poker room aren't, they think, oh, I should win. I'm playing against fish. Well, then congratulate yourself that you won. You don't need to jump up and down and go, yippee, I'm the best poker player of all time because I stacked the fish at 1-3. No, you have to be like, okay, Nick, you won. You beat the fish. Yes, you're supposed to beat it, but you took the time out of your day to sit in this chair, to be patient enough to get the money in when you needed to. Good job. And move on from there. And don't forget that every part of life, every part of poker, every part of winning is difficult and is a small little task to overcome, whether the task feels like it's a mountain or if it feels like if it's an anthill. You still need to walk over that problem. With all of this comes not just winning, but comes the feeling that you are living life in the present. Guys, poker's very difficult. The poker life's very difficult. If you liked this video and you want me to talk more about books or whatever it may be, DM me. I offer coaching for very affordable prices. When I was grinding, well, I was playing 1-2 and the buy-in was like $100 back in 2010 and the people were buying for $50 and I go to poker coaching and they say, "Okay, I I I can do it for $200 an hour, $150 an hour. That's a whole stack in 1 hour. I will work with you, whatever you need. I want to make coaching work. I have had multiple students crushing 10 big blinds per 100 over a long period of time. So please message me if you need coaching, and we'll work with you if you want to be a great poker player because poker is like life, and if you can win at poker, you can win at life. I'll catch you in the next one.